All right, man.
What we talking about today, real fast? What we talking about?
Man. After the intro, man, we're gonna get right into this journey. I'm gonna take this thumbnail off right now because we got a
He
lot
said
we
we
got a lot
get
to
right
speak on.
into it.
We got a lot to speak on, y'all. We got a
All
lot to
right, what's
speak
Got
good?
on.
stuff.
What's good?
What's up? Man, say he got
What's
something on his
good?
chest he want to get off. He ready to get going.
You see
Yeah,
that?
let's go.
You see that? See that right there? See it
Uh-oh.
right there?
You
This
already
what we
see
on
it's
right now.
Warriors. It's Warriors.
You worried?
This what we on right now. So
Oh man, hey, hold
so
up, man. I can't even be on the show today. I got a Warriors fan.
hold on,
You know
hold
what I mean?
on. No, no,
Hey,
no, no, no,
I'm
no, no, no,
originally
no,
from H
no,
Town, man. What we doing?
no, no. I don't want to hear it. I got something on my chest. I don't want to crash out too much. But this is what we gonna talk about. All right.
Oh my
I
God.
need my team to step up and handle business. And this is what and this is where I'm coming from. Because this whole series, right? The fans, I'm sorry, there was supposed to be intro, but I had to get this off my chest. No intro right now. We're in this thing. One thing is that I want to ask Uncle Ramon. This is a question for you because you used to be a head coach. So
Okay.
my thing is, when you have a guy like Steven Adams, right, who is like the most unfragile dude ever. You can't move him. You can't outbox him. You can't nothing. Because Steven Adams, when in his prime years, he was unstoppable. He was unmovable. It was him and Westbrook just going at it against other teams. And the fact that they had this man on the floor every time against our Warriors, we couldn't make a single bucket at all. But my thing is, why do you feel like it's necessary to like foul him every time and get him to the line? Why do you think that's possible? Why do you think they do that?
Well, you remember the Hacker Shack?
Yeah, that was about, hey, CP,
Well, that
you
was
already
back.
know I was about to
Yeah,
say the same thing.
yeah.
Please
Well,
explain me. Explain to
okay.
me about that.
There was this thing. So I know since you've been watching the series, if you've been watching it, you've been hearing the commentators refer to it as Hacker Adams, or
Yeah.
something along those lines. Well, that came from back in the day when
Mm-hmm.
Shaquille O'Neal played in the league, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unstoppable. I mean, the rules was different, right? So if you're a
Yep.
big man, that's when it was all down low play. And Shaq was unstoppable, and the only way to stop him at the end of the game or towards the end of the games,
Yep.
they would foul him. And so they came up with a term called Hacker Shack. You get
Hackensack.
what I'm
Yep.
saying? Because he was a terrible, well, he was a poor free throw shooter. Let's put it like that. And so Adams is a poor free throw shooter. But hey, in this series, he been knocking them down. He like,
Yo,
if y'all gonna foul me,
this man
Right.
was a 53% shooter at the free throw line.
Right.
Man
that
had
strategy.
14 points, bro,
Yeah, well,
and 5 blocks.
well
Wait,
against y'all are small
let me
team.
just let me just say this. So CP, you hit it right on the nose. But what you got to understand is this is the NBA playoffs. All the
Right.
money is on the line. So again, Aramis, remember last week when we had a conversation and I told you some teams gonna win because of energy. And I told you if they get to game 7, what am I going with? Veteran experience.
Right.
Veteran experience to me in any game 7, I'm gonna give them the leeway first. Anything can
Right.
happen. That's why they say any
Right.
given day anybody can beat anybody. But in an atmosphere where you create pressure bursts pipes.
Every
So
time.
that's why I go with veterans on game 7. So I'm going with the Warriors on game 7. But to get back to the Hack-a-Shack thing, this is what I call coaching, where you have to
Yep.
exhaust every avenue to win the game. It doesn't matter. Yes, free throws is part of the game. 2 points
Yep.
is part of the game. Fouls is part of the game. I've seen where coaches go in and say, okay, this for Shaq, for example, nobody could stop Shaq, but I got 6 dudes on the bench. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I got 30 fouls to give, which slows the game down. And my percentages, just like you said, yes, the guy knocking some down now, but theoretically through the course of time, he's going to miss some because he's only a 30% shooter, a 40% shooter. So that's part of coaching. So when you see this is not to discredit the game. We talking about a lot on the line, and I have to pull out all stops in coaching so that I can do everything that I've given to give my team an opportunity to win, including using all my timeouts, using all my fouls, getting each player to the cup. If I have to double a player, if they down by 3 with 2 seconds left, I got all 5 of my players on the 3-point line defending the 3. You can have the 2. This is called coaching 101.
Yeah, and piggyback back to the Hack and Shaq thing. The thing about that, it worked a lot. You know what I'm saying? But also, Shaq's a professional. Steven Adams is a professional. Yep. These guys actually practice free throws. So during the regular season, you know, on a Tuesday night, you know, you might employ the Hacker Adams in this case, and he might miss all of them regular season game. But this is the playoffs. He's a veteran. I think he's been in the league 15 years at least, or something along those lines, or close to it. You know, the man practice free throws. He know they're going to foul him, just like Shaq
every
did.
time.
It was games where Shaq. It was games where Shaq would look like, when they employed that strategy, he would look like a 90% free throw shooter. You see what I'm saying? So just like Adams, I think last game and the game before, these last couple games, he's been knocking them down because they are professionals and they know this is the playoffs. So that hacker thing is not going to work every time. That's not really what's killing the Warriors when it comes to Adams. You're killing the Warriors because y'all have no size.
Thank you. Ding, 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 ding. Thank you.
Ding. So it's like you know what I'm saying? Like Ramon just said, they have no size. It's coaching, especially in the playoffs. You're seeing the same team up to 7 games if you have to, right? So it's all about matchups. Steven Adams was on the bench most of the season. But you know where I can play Steven Adams? Against a team like Golden State that really has no size.
Because they know, because and this is what I'm gonna say too, because not only have the Warriors have been this small this year, but if you look back throughout the years, we haven't been that small because we've always had a guy like Sean Livingston, Kevin Looney, Jordan Love. I meant Jordan Bell because Jordan Bell was a phenomenal big too. We had KD because we just added KD. And then
they were small bigs. They ain't have no beef to them. I'm talking about bigs, actual five position bigs. Like only 5.
But the Warriors ain't gonna do that.
They got Looney. You know? I don't understand why they're not even giving Looney any minutes. And I'm not saying Looney is a killer, but Looney
he can play some kind of defense. Though.
He can play. He's a legit like big 6'11" type of guy with beef on him. So and if the Warriors, these are not the Warriors. These are not the Steph and KD Warriors where they're killing with the small ball because everyone plays small ball now. But against a team, the Rockets have pretty much dusted Steven Adams off the bench. The man was chilling most of the season until it's like, oh, we're gonna play the Warriors. They don't have nobody in our size.
Well, I think it's this. I think it's this too. When you have such of a powerful weapon like Steven Adams, because for one thing, I know he was still on the Rockets. I thought maybe they had traded him away, but I see him on the floor. I'm like, okay, now it's a problem because the Rockets, they have a center, but it's not as big and you know as strong as Steven Adams. Because mind you, when you look at his prime numbers, and when we look at how he was in OKC, nobody was stopping him. As right now, you still can't stop him.
His second game has been rebounds, hustle, and like tip ins and lobs. I mean,
they call him a rim protector. That's all he is, a rim protector. He is a rim protector. Grab some rebounds, rim protector.
He's not a rim protector as in he's not a shot blocker rim protector. No. He's a space eater rim protector.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm
Yep.
gonna give him his flowers because for one thing, the way I see him move, the way I see him on offense and defense, I'm gonna give him his flowers because anytime when the Rockets are on a fast break, who do you see creating space to the basket? That's Steven Adams. Because no matter what, it can be Draymond under that basket, it can be Jimmy under that basket. That man is moving the boys out the way. So either Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, or Jabari Smith, or anybody can score a basket. And you can't get mad at it because you can't move him. But at some point, you can't just have. You can't allow that to happen. You just got some kind of defense.
How? So you know what? I'm gonna move this forward a little bit. Look at Rudy Gobert. The Lakers had him looking like Wilt Chamberlain. You know what I mean? They had him looking like prime Wilt out there.
Yo, we're gonna discuss that later on too.
But Rudy Gobert, for all intents and purposes, Rudy Gobert is an all-star player.
He is an all-star.
That's not take away from his skill set. He has a decent skill set. And he was also
the defensive player of the year.
He's not Wilt Chamberlain by far, but the man.
But the man gave up some numbers though.
Yeah.
He gave up them numbers.
He has a hot night here and there. It's because it goes down to matchups.
The man had
the matchups.
Right. The man had 24 and 27. I'm like, dude, what is
let me give y'all a key point and the play, and we talk about basketball. You remember when Boston won? Who was the one guy that stepped up, and it was because of matchups? Old man Horford.
Al Horford, yeah.
Al Horford. Out of that, the man been in the league 19 years, and he putting in a double-double on the way to the Boston winning. He was a key component in that series.
Right. It's all about matchups, man, because, I mean, if you look at the Lakers series, right, Rudy Gobert, before he had that double-double, 20-plus points, 20-plus rebounds, that closeout game, I think he had a total of 15 points or something like that in the whole series before that. You see what I'm saying? But it was matchups. We have nobody down low.
Remember what I told you when the Lakers got Luka. I said that's all nice and dandy, and CP. This is what I told him. I said because Anthony Davis gone, and quote me if I'm wrong, Amos. Did I not say they don't have no money to go get nobody, but they should at least go get somebody like a Dwight Howard or somebody of that nature to be in the middle. And that would have been somebody who would have been defending the middle, eating up the pace, being a deterrent or whatever, would have slowed all that bullshit down, and we wouldn't be even having these conversations because the Lakers win that series.
Well,
no presence play. And Luka ain't playing no defense.
I can't say the Lakers did try to get size. I still don't know. We still don't know, as fans or just fans of the game, not necessarily the team. We don't know what went down in that trade with Mark Williams, who is the center for the Charlotte Hornets.
They re-signed that trade.
They sent the boy back. They sent him back.
Yeah.
And after that,
they re-signed it.
Because he felt the physical. That's what rescinded the trade. But the Lakers rescinded the trade. Now,
right, because he felt
physical can mean anything. So whoever the Lakers screwed that up. Because the next week after they turned the trade down,
the man was playing.
The man was playing, balled out the rest of the season. So
he was playing. So LA fumbled that. They fumbled that dearly. 100%.
Because a lot of trades still go through when dudes say fail a physical, right? But teams are like, so whatever made him fail, like it was something minor. So someone in Lakers front office screwed that up royally. Because let me tell you, if the Lakers had that guy, they'd still be playing right now.
That series would have been over. Lakers would have been in advance.
Been advanced. That's why I say they fumbled. Because I
don't think my
knee was
Now, let me ask y'all, did y'all hear this? Because I don't know if the truth. I don't want to go too far off topic. I know we talk about the playoffs, but I do saw the Giannis and them lost, and all of a sudden now Giannis going to the Lakers.
I don't know if he's going to the Lakers, but he's out of there.
No.
He's gone. He might.
He's definitely leaving. He's definitely leaving Milwaukee.
You know
Dame too.
Dame too. Dame, I think they stuck with Dame.
Nah.
Where you gonna go? Unless he's a free agent.
I think Dame out of there, bro.
They're not gonna get both of them.
No, Dame tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
He ain't even playing next season. He might.
Nobody
if he
gonna
do
touch
it,
Dame right now.
it'll
Nobody
be
touching
way
him.
after
I
All-Star break.
know, but I'm saying, but like when it comes upon the time, Doc Rivers and the GM are probably gonna make some calls. But I've heard a little rumor
Do nothing
before
with him,
that. I know, but I heard a little bit of rumor before the whole incident of his Achilles that they may be on that on that spot to go. But we'll see. Because right now,
Doc Rivers might not be there. That ain't gonna even be his call. Doc Rivers might not survive this. You know what I mean? I mean, to be honest,
right?
like you can't, like I say,
We already know Giannis was out there because
yeah. Listen, they're not gonna lose Giannis, and they not lose both of them.
But if they do, that'd be a problem.
Though.
But I'm just saying, but if they do, that would be a problem. You should want to keep Dame and get rid of Giannis because they were already like Giannis doesn't want to go, but they told Giannis said like, bro, it's like if you don't give us another ring, you're out.
Nah, they ain't. Man, listen, now on that, they're not dictating nothing with Giannis. Giannis is dictating everything. Whatever move Giannis wants, Giannis gets. Like Giannis has been all those moves they've been making. They're not trying to get rid of Giannis. They're shaking in their boots because they know Giannis is most likely going to be out of there. So they got one or two choices. They can stay there, let his contract run out, I think, in another year or maybe, and let him be unhappy.
I think he got another year or two.
Yeah, they can trade him and get some assets. You know what I mean? They need assets.
I would say start over.
Well, they start over. You trade Giannis.
My thing is you can get the boatload. You can get players and picks for Giannis. Straight up and down. They ain't getting shit
for Dame. They ain't getting a damn.
They ain't getting enough for Dame.
They ain't getting 2 silver nickels for Dame.
I know,
36.
I know, but what I'm saying is if you start over, you keep the team how it is, but like you guys said, like trade out to get some assets. But if you trade Giannis, you need to be more careful on what pieces you really need and focus on those pieces because most GMs, most teams, and in this whole entire NBA do not focus on what they need. Warriors, do not focus.
If you give up Giannis and you're Milwaukee, you have to replace him with a big. Period.
You have to.
Period. Because if you already got Dame playing the 1-2, you can't go back small ball because they're a small market team. They're not going to attract. First of all, they're not going to attract so many people for that franchise. So you can't have like Dame Leonard is a tier 3, tier 4 player right now in his career presently. So you have to go and get a tier 1 or a tier 2 player, period, before you can even, because you can't give up a 1. Oh no, you can't give up somebody who's about to go down, Hall of Famer, the whole shit. You can't give up that piece in his prime for nothing. It has to at least be a 1 and some potentials and all that. So you know, when you say a team pick him up, anybody could use him. I would love to see him go to the Knicks. I think he go to the Knicks. They win the whole East hands down. Brunson gets some help, a piece like that, and they got boys where they could give them 2-3 boys and a few picks.
There you
so
go.
That makes sense.
I was just about to say a team like New York, which he's been rumored to alone for a while. That's a prime team to get because of the simple fact they have a few pieces that they can give up. But more importantly here, guys.
He goes to the Knicks.
More importantly, guys, than a position piece, because this is what I mean. I'm explaining from this. You're Milwaukee, all right? You're the Milwaukee Bucks. Okay, we're not talking about a prime time. This is a small market Milwaukee Bucks. And you're talking about, y'all like, well, they need to start over. Yes, they're going to have to start over. Like Milwaukee won an actual championship, guys, 3 years ago. So you're Milwaukee. You're good. So it's time now. They already started dismantling the championship team a couple of years ago, right? Giannis leaves. They don't necessarily have to get a player back. They're Milwaukee. Yes, they can start from the bottom. They're pretty much there right now. Name me two players besides Dame and Giannis.
Brooke Lopez.
Kyle
What Lopez?
Kuzma.
But
Eric
Lopez is a
Gordon.
tier 3. He a tier 3. Tier 3.
I'm
Brooke
just
Lopez.
saying, name me somebody that matters. So you're Milwaukee. So you're not
Me,
necessarily
Brooke.
shipping Giannis and like, oh, I need a
So
big back.
CP, what happened to my man Milton? When they traded Milton,
Middleton.
yeah. What
Yeah, they
happened to
traded
him?
him. He was part of the Dame deal. I think he didn't go to Portland, but he went somewhere else.
He
I
went
get
to
it, but
Philly.
No, it was time. They got the most out of him as well. It was done.
Yeah.
Chris Middleton.
He was holding them down. They need another
Oh,
Batman.
wait. Middleton went to Washington.
Season this year, right?
He went to Washington.
For Kyle
Washington,
Kuzma. He went in the Kyle Kuzma deal. But you got to think, guys. Okay, I'm gonna give y'all a little history with Chris Middleton. Chris Middleton was a second-round pick or late first round, one of those. I forgot where he was at before he got to Milwaukee. He wasn't never. They're like, oh, we never should have get rid of Chris Middleton. No, they got the best years of Chris Middleton. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was at Detroit first, made it. He was all right. He got to Milwaukee, paired with Giannis, and he blossomed for those 3 or 4 years. They got a championship out of him.
And they wouldn't have won without him. They wouldn't have won without me.
But he's not that player though. He was like, oh, if they would have kept Chris Middleton. Trust me, he's not that. He was never that type of player.
No, Dame was it was a good move to get Dame for him. Dame just can't stay healthy.
They didn't really get the Dame for him. They shot him off to Washington for Kyle Kuzma and some pieces. Because y'all got to think, after the championship, Chris Middleton has missed the most, except this year he played half the season. But after the championship, he pretty much missed the next 2 years. He's an injury-prone guy. And so he also wasn't a young dude. Chris Middleton was in his 30s. He was never one of those pieces where it was just like, whoa, they caught this best 2 or 3 years and they end up working out for the championship. So that really didn't make no bit of a difference, right? But what I'm saying here in this trade, they don't necessarily, if they trade Giannis, right, they don't necessarily have to get a big back or literally a player back. They can do like the Knicks did when they acquired Mikal Bridges. They got 5 first-round picks. That's what
I hope
Milwaukee
they don't
needs.
do that though, CP. Because I hope they don't do that because by them being a small market team, it's going to be hard. I mean, I hope they don't go all the way to the bottom because it might take them 10 years to recover.
We're talking
it's
about
hard
Milwaukee,
to find the
guys.
Giannis.
We're talking about Milwaukee Bucks.
I know.
Y'all like they don't need they operate different. They won a championship 3
they got
years
their
ago.
money.
The Bucks, right?
Yeah.
So no one's coming there like that. Yes,
Nope.
they need draft picks. They don't need players because players are not going to want to go there in free agency. And so they can get rid of Giannis and get 5 to 6 first-round draft picks.
Yeah.
Now they can rebuild.
They'll become like
team.
Indiana. They'll be like Indiana with a lot of picks and all that.
You have to build like that.
Yeah.
So getting one player that ain't gonna work because that player gonna leave the first chance they get.
Yeah.
Giannis
Unless somebody come with him.
Giannis stayed that long because he's from Europe. You know what I mean? He's not American
and
born.
He got his money first. He got his money.
Well, you come from Europe. Those guys that come from Europe, they don't have the same American player mindset. So they can come and go to small market teams like Cleveland, Milwaukee, or wherever, and they love it. They're not, I got to go to New York. You know what I'm saying? They want to stay there. So that's how teams like Cleveland and Milwaukee have to build their teams. See what I'm saying?
Right.
And then you hope that you can get a free agent, just like Cleveland. Once LeBron left, they built with all draft picks, and then they got Donovan Mitchell to come.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
And that was it.
Milwaukee is not a team where you're like, oh, give me this player, give me this player. No, those teams have to build through the draft. And build San Antonio the same way. So that's why I say we're talking about Milwaukee, guys.
They the blueprint because they always keep a European player
about
all the time.
Now, the Lakers, the Knicks, big market teams, they can get free agents. They can get guys be like, no, I just need this guy and this guy. They don't build through the draft. If you notice, Lakers, big market teams, they don't build through the draft.
They just make a phone call and that's it.
Milwaukee has to build through the draft. And the best thing they can do is get a boatload of draft picks from someone and build like that. Again, we're talking about Milwaukee, guys. We're talking as if, they need to hurry up and get back on the championship train. You know what I
No,
mean? Like it's the rush.
they did good. To get one in there. They did hella fine to get one in there.
Right. So they good, man. So they get draft picks because that's how you're gonna build. So they just got lucky like that, man. And that's just how it is. And again, Giannis is European born. That's why he stayed there that long. You know what I mean? He stayed in Milwaukee, what, 10 years? Ain't no American born player doing that. You know what I mean?
You know who I wanted to give my hats off to, CP and Aramis, was Coach Lou. They took them boys to 7. The Clippers, to me, should have won the series, but with all the adversity and getting Kawhi back, for them to still take them boys to a game 7, that was commendable.
Coach like that.
Yeah, Coach Lou gave a hell of a speech because they was like, well, are you upset? You this and that. And the man was top class. He was like, man, listen, I got everything I could get out of my people, and it came down to one game. You can't ask for more than that.
He did.
Yeah, Coach Lou, hats off to him. He needed if he listened to us, tell him to join us one day up on here. Shout out to the fan base. Get him
shout
up
out
on
to
here.
Lou. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shout out to Lou.
Where's he from? Mexico, Nebraska? That's what it is. No, seriously, he's from like a little town. I think it's called Mexico, and it's in Nebraska.
For Coach Lou? Okay.
Yeah, it's small, tiny town. Like literally, I think it's the name of it is Mexico, Nebraska.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because remember, he played at the it's going way back. You know, I'm old enough to remember when he played college ball at the University of Nebraska.
Yeah. And played for the Lakers. Everybody remember Allen Iverson stepping over him. That's his famous at the Lakers. But top class coach.
And then going back to this size thing, man, how we began the conversation, it's all about matchup, especially in the playoffs. You know, Steven Adams might play this series. If the Rockets win, he might not even play against another team. You know what I mean? And so, but this team, he's very valuable. You know what I mean?
So who y'all? Okay, Aramis, who we going with, guys? Who we going with? Since we talking about, let's close that one out. Who you picking in the game 7? Rockets or Clippers? I mean, Rockets or Warriors?
Look. Hold them up.
You go H-Style? I know you go H-Style.
A little part of me though say it's game 7, and like you said earlier, experience does come into play in the game 7, especially if you're a young team like the Rockets. But the Rockets got experienced players like Fred VanVleet, who's been carrying them through this season. You see, through this series.
And he won a chip. With Toronto.
So you know.
Yeah, he pisses me off so much right now. I hate that man.
Oh shit! You must have hit
you got.
Here's the thing.
What you got, Evans? What you got?
This is this is from Curry. He. Now I want to bring this quote up again. That he spoke to the team. This was in 2023 when they were in the similar situation with the Kings. Game 6, they got blown out. Now I'm gonna read this, and then I'm gonna continue my point after this. So he said, if you're getting on this bus, you're making a commitment to this team. I don't care how many minutes you play. I don't care if you don't want to play a single second. I don't care if it's a points, rebounds, whatever it is. But if you're going to get on this bus, you are saying, I'm going to do whatever it takes as far as my preparation goes to win this game. We have an opportunity to play in game 7. They're rare. They don't come around. Take advantage of the moment. Embrace the moment. That right there should tell the team right now that you need to lock in and play the ball and play basketball. There are a few players on this team that tick me off to the limits, and that is Buddy Hield, Brandon Vizinski, Draymond Green. Draymond Green.
No, I get you.
Why do you get a flagrant foul? What is wrong with you, dog? You don't play defense.
So Aaron, listen. Here's where what you just said, that's a veteran telling all his players that everybody needs to play their part in this game, even if it's getting in for 5 seconds.
But
so that's a veteran move.
This whole series,
but now what I think that has to happen, a lot of things got to happen, because they playing in Houston, right? Game 7 is in
Yeah.
Houston.
In Houston.
Yep.
So
Ooh,
Houston got
the
the
city on
advantage.
fire today.
Yeah, they're gonna be on. Oh, Houston gonna be on. That's a whole other
Hey, it's
conversation.
already Sunday. It's already Sunday.
They don't care
you
about
know
Sunday.
if you from Houston, if you heard anything, it's Sunday.
Yeah,
So you
it's
know what I mean?
Sunday. Sunday.
Woo!
But
It's
what I
Sunday.
will tell you that this is what and this is just me thinking outside the box. Draymond Green is gonna have to get in somebody's head and get somebody injected and or himself injected as part of the scheme for them, and that's not being taken from him, but that's about pulling out all the stops.
So that's
that
why you
I
can't get mad at
need.
him, Aramis. That's part of his strategy.
Yeah,
I
that's
agree
me
with that.
getting somebody's head and whatever,
Right,
and
but-
goes back to what he said when Steph made that comment. This is part of it. I don't care how many minutes, how many seconds. Block
Exactly.
this. Listen, it doesn't matter. I need you to pull all stops so we can advance in a game 7.
Now,
I'm on Draymond against a young, inexperienced team, mostly. Oh yeah, especially today. I'm coming out and I'm walking that line, like he said in the interview the other day. I'm walking that line between getting ejected and getting a foul because if I can get
I gotta
one
get in the
person's
head.
yep.
Yeah, get in somebody's head. If it's a
Buddy
double
Hield.
injection, great. They took me out, but I got one of them out. It's all
Yep.
about every stop right now.
So I don't care. I don't blame him, Aramis, but you're right about Buddy Hield and Pozinski or whatever it is, though. But they're young guys, and like Buddy Hield, he heckle a job. He hit or miss. So you know,
Buddy Hield has been in this league for as long as I matter. But the thing is, too, this is what I don't understand. How do you shoot the same percentage as Curry in the beginning of the season towards December?
Pressure bursts pipes.
Right.
All of that. See, listen, this is the second season. We not anything that happened in the first season as you become a veteran means nothing. Because now you have where a good coach and a good student of the game, he gonna understand. I know your tendencies. I know what you're doing. I know how you do it, and then now I have to take every single piece as to game plan. When you're in the regular season, you can't game plan for somebody like you do a 7-game series.
You gotta see a
But this
team
is where all of that comes into play.
Every night you gotta see the same team.
Fool me once, you can't fool me 3, 4, and 5. That's not it.
They had no ball control at all. We had 10 turnovers in game 6. That should not happen. Steve Kerr, during his press conference, he initially said having 10 turnovers is embarrassing.
Well, turnovers are going to lose you the game in any sport.
But then they asked him a question because I even got it right here. Jonathan Kuminga, 0 minutes in game 4 or game 4 through 6. So he didn't play 4, 5, or 6. He played in the other games, but he didn't get as much as minutes.
Trust me. He sees something we don't see. You know what I'm saying? Practice, we see something. So I mean, I can't put that on Kerr or any coach.
I can't.
Because like I say, coaches see stuff we don't see.
Right, but the thing is too, he is that key player. And on top of it, he's young. He's still young.
Where the stats say that say he's the missing piece? See what I'm saying?
I'm not saying he's the missing piece, but what I'm saying is that when you have a guy like Jonathan Kuminga, he's a tough person, but on top of that, his play type is phenomenal. The way he can score the basket, the way he can play defense, grab rebounds.
Potential.
Right. So I understand when you're having Jimmy Butler on the court, you got to spare some minutes between him and Kuminga. You can't just have him. Like, you can't have Jimmy Butler on the floor too much. You gotta explore your options.
So Aramis, I will say this: if I got 2 scenarios, and then I'll pass it to y'all. Y'all can give it 2 scenarios, and we see what we go on to the next team. But for this matchup here, first of all, if it comes down to a 2 or 3 possession game, Golden State wins. straight up, in my opinion. If Rockets gonna win, it's because they have a lead and they hold on to the lead. And when I say lead, they're gonna have to withstand the runs, this and that. And the whole thing gonna come down to if Jimmy Butler step up to where he's supposed to, he can give me a double, 25. He's gonna need about 20 points plus and a double. Yep. And then you still gotta have Steph Curry still has to score. If between Jimmy and Steph, between the two of them, they got to get 50 points, 15 rebounds collected between the two of them, and they're going to need about 12 to 16 assists. They win the game between the two of them because them two is going to be determined what is and what's not depending on that game. All of the young boys, all this, just how the game going to match rate within that. Other than that, I don't think that if they can't do nothing with that and Draymond and all them pieces don't mean it. But if you can sustain and hold Jimmy Butler or Steph to have any one of them day where they can't sustain those stats that I just gave you, then the Rockets should win.
Yeah. This is what I'm gonna say to that. CP, go ahead, CP.
No, go ahead.
This is what I'm gonna say to that, and you just, I'm gonna bring that point back up, Uncle Ramon, to what you were saying about the scoring with Curry, Jimmy, and everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I just pulled this up. Warriors fourth quarter in Game 6, right? Jimmy was 8 for 24 as the field goal. Curry was 1 for 12 at the 3-pointer, and Warriors in the fourth quarter. So,
and Warriors lost, right? Warriors lost because not only but that's why. That's game over. You can't have your two most valuable players have that kind of performance in championship minutes, let alone the championship quarter. And today, don't even watch the game. Turn in the fourth quarter, and that's what's going to tell it.
Yeah. And then
everything
going back
in Game 7 is about showtime. Yeah. Fourth quarter, money on the line. Magic Johnson said it the best. Showtime. The best players in the league eat when it's time to shine at the moment. And there's no bigger shine than a Game 7. And that's when you become a household name in a Game 7 situation, winner take all. Showtime.
And for your boy Jonathan Kuminga, like I said, man, Kerr knows I would trust Kerr. I mean, he's a championship coach, right? And like you say, Kuminga has potential, but he doesn't fit their system, and he doesn't fit the current players that they have on that roster. You know what I'm saying? And on top of that, he's still very, very, very young, right? And going to Washington or Utah on a Tuesday night and coming in and scoring 30 points on a random Tuesday in November is very different than let me put you in a playoff series with my veteran team. You got to think this team, even if it's just Steph and Draymond, 4-time champions, they've been running the same system and everything revolves and works around Steph, right? So in Draymond, it's a very particular, specific system that they run, especially in the playoff time. Maybe Kuminga gets in practice and he can't pick up. Well, on offense, you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're supposed to be in this spot at exactly this time because maybe Steph is curling around and coming on this side. All this comes into play. We don't need, oh, shit, I forgot. Oh, potential. Oh, you're not following along with the system. I can't put you out there. You see what I'm saying? Yes, he has potential, but everyone, Kuminga, play Kuminga. They played Kuminga enough to where they see what they have in Kuminga. Whereas the regular season, and damn sure not finna do in the playoffs. He's not a rookie. This is like his third year in the league.
Amos, what I would say, and to what you said, CP, if you are, and Amos, if you would like to see Kuminga's play, the only way, and he hasn't been playing, that I can see that and again it comes to coaching, is if Curry says, okay, I got to use everybody. And I know that going down the stretch, I got to go to my bread and butter. So that means that these players, Kuminga and all these other young boys, he has to interject them in the first quarter,
Right.
first beginning of the game, and whoever can catch hot, catch fire, catch anything from there is going to dictate how it goes through the rest of the season. So anybody that you think there's a wild card that should be playing and he out of the box, rookie this, rookie that, if Curry play it right, if he feel it is, and I can't coach for him because he is the guy, but if they had a chance, they would have to inject them in the first quarter and allow their play to dictate their minutes throughout the rest of the game and contributions to that game.
It's a very veteran system, man. That's the same reason LeBron doesn't like playing with young guys. You know, like Steph is the same way, especially in the playoffs. It's the same reason, Tom Brady in football didn't like a young guy coming in, because they need you to know exactly where I'm going to be in this situation. You see what I'm saying? When it's on young teams. And man, you can't just, and then besides this, guys, my mother is a Golden State Warriors fan. I don't know why. She loves Steph Curry, right? And she, same way, we're talking about the playoffs, right? And this morning she asked me, she was like, they're going to game 7. She was like, what happened? I said, you know what happened? And ain't know what happened. The Rockets are the 2 seed. The Warriors are the 6 seed. We're forgetting that. You know what I mean? When you really break it down, we're here
6 or
talking
7.
like the
I thought it was
Warriors
7 seed. Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I'm talking like the Warriors was a favorite based off Steph in their championships. But the Rockets are the 2 seed. I don't care how young they are. You know what I mean? So it's no surprise. Yeah, Golden State is supposed to be trying to find out whatever they can to win this series. You see, it's not no surprise. We're not talking about the prime time Steph and Clay Warriors. You know what I mean? They're the 6 seed, 7 seed, or whatever they are.
Right. Exactly.
That seed don't matter, bro.
Man,
that shit do not matter. That shit do not matter.
Them seeds do matter.
Bro,
they not there for no reason.
Because look what happened to Minnesota and LA. What seed was LA? Third. And what seed was Timberwolves?
You're gonna have that happen every now and then, but basketball, those seeds usually turn out to be pretty accurate, right? And if you look at it, speaking of the Lakers in Minnesota, this is another thing people forget about. Yeah, the Lakers finished third, and Minnesota had some shakeups. They traded, made some trades. They did all that in the middle of the season, right? But 2 years ago, they was 1 series away from the finals. And last year, they were supposed to favorite to go to the finals, but they ran into a hot Mavericks team. So people forget this team has been up there now for the last 2-3 years. You know what I'm saying? So them beating the Lakers wasn't really a surprise to me. What it was a revelation that people forgot that the Wolves have been the Wolves. Like, they've been kicking ass the past 2 years. See what I'm saying? We forgot that. We forgot. So when I thought about it, I was like, damn, the seeding is one thing, but really Minnesota was the favorite to me. You know what I'm saying? When you really break it down. Because that team hadn't changed. It actually got better. And it's still younger. And it's still that team 2 years ago that was whooping everybody's ass. And everybody was like, God damn, it's the Wolves? The Wolves arrived. You know what I'm saying? This is not the Cinderella Wolves. They was a Cinderella they hadn't been a Cinderella in 3 years. So what that was a bad matchup for the Lakers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and no defensive presence. LA got to get some defense out there. They got a lot of scoring, no defense.
But in the NBA, man, in football playoffs, the seeding in the playoffs, most of the time the wild card team wins, right? The lower seed. But in basketball, the seeds pretty much are right or close to it when it breaks it down.
But NFL is only like that because it's one game. The NBA is best out of 7. If you play best out of 7, like you said, traditionally the numbers speak for itself, except for every once in a while you have what we call an upset.
Right.
This is what I want to say too, because I know you guys, you guys watch a lot of basketball, and so have I, and we witnessed a lot of the fans, chant, like talking trash about the refs, but I need y'all fans to understand this, and this will ever be like this forever. No matter how long it's gonna take, it will always be like this. When it comes to the playoffs, certain calls are just not going to be called.
Exactly. Yeah,
Certain calls
whistle.
are not going to be called. So the fans don't don't badmouth the refs, because it's gonna be like that for God knows how long.
They let you play.
You're right. They let you play. So
and
the
that's
coaches
been like that forever. In
right.
The NBA.
So Steve Kerr and Emu Udoka, I need y'all to like toughen up, bro, because it's gonna be a long run, man. Because that ain't gonna change. So I just want to throw that out there. But
well, that's just gamesmanship. When they coaches say that, they say, well, we're not getting the calls, blah blah. That's just gamesmanship.
And I feel that.
Maybe next game they might get that call in a crucial situation they need.
Exactly. All right. So we already covered the Warriors Rockets. Let's get in more on the LA and Minnesota talk, because I know we've already started talking about it. So let's finish that point, and then we're gonna move on to the Detroit and Knicks conversation. As far as LA and Minnesota, which we knew that LA was the favorite, because everybody wants LA to win, and that
no, wait, say that again. That everybody that's LeBron fans still riding LeBron's tip, and LeBron is 40 and transitioning out of the league. So all y'all, only LeBron, all LeBron is everything. That LeBron ship is over. I do not see LeBron winning anything else, period.
He got one shot. He got one more shot. I say you got one more year as far as LeBron to like actually, because this is going to happen. This is going to happen. Okay. But Luka, I believe Luka's going to come back in better shape next year, right? And that's going to be a big help. And somehow they need to get a big man. If they can do that, then it's a chance. It's a chance.
If they get Giannis, yes.
Yeah. Oh, if they get Giannis, yeah.
They get Giannis, it's over. And here we go. But at some point, the commissioner, Adam Schefter, is going to, what's the commissioner? What's NBA commissioner name?
Adam Silver.
Adam Silver is going. This is what I will tell you. And I will be surprised, and y'all can quote me on this. I will be surprised if Adam Silver allows Giannis to go to the Lakers, because that's going to automatically propel them to a number one overall in the whole entire league, both conferences. And the last time that happened, when they tried to do that before, LeBron or whoever, they tried to get CP to go over there, and the commissioner vetoed it.
Oh my God!
Because if CP would have went to the Lakers years ago,
Kobe
would have been the same
beat Bryant.
So that's what I'm trying to tell you. They not. Some trades they're gonna allow, but you're not gonna allow a Giannis to go to Lakers, because it's gonna be just like the OCP joint when Kobe was there, and Silver vetoed that.
Man, you never know. I just say the Lakers. I just need a big man, a couple people to get in shape, and they be all right.
Do you know what the whole league will be in an uproar? Because then how would the Lakers have got two of the top 8 players in the league within a year?
The Lakers, you know what I mean? The Lakers.
Most of them got pulled, but that's a lot of pull.
Hey, if you're in Milwaukee's shoes and the Lakers call up and say, "Hey, we're gonna give you Dalton Connect. We're gonna give you goddamn anybody on the team you want, except LeBron and Luka, and we also gonna throw in 2-3 first-round draft picks."
I love it.
Nothing the commissioner can do about that.
I love it.
I say that's what makes the Lakers the Knicks so dangerous in this situation to get. Yeah. I would actually put them at number one. You know,
I gotta say, I think Knicks is the good fit for Giannis. Stay on the East Coast.
I think the other team that I think that actually, and this is nothing about fit. This is just about teams that I believe can acquire Giannis because they have, for one, they have the players and that they can, and they also have the draft picks. And again, guys, which is more important to a small market team is those first round draft picks.
Yep.
And I'm going to say this because this is a team that has a million first round draft picks. They got rid of all their stars. They tanked maybe for not tanked. They had maybe a year and a half, a couple bad seasons, and now they're back on top and they're a small market team. And nobody came in, no big free agent came in to save them. Is the Oklahoma City Thunder. The Oklahoma City Thunder, they got 8 million first round picks that they've been acquiring ever since KD left. And when I say small market, they built their team all draft picks pretty much. And you got to remember, Shai Gilgeous didn't come there as no superstar. He came there in the Chris Paul trade where he was only, I think, 3 or 4 years at that time, maybe 3 years he had been in the league. So it wasn't like, they just threw him in the Chris Paul trade when Chris Paul went to the Clippers. So it wasn't like he was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander now, and they signed him to a free agency, and he came to Oklahoma City. He came there after being with the Clippers like 3 years, came in that trade, and that's when he developed to who he is now. But everybody else came from draft picks because they're a small market team. No one's coming there free agency. You know what I'm saying? And you know that, so you have to build through the draft.
But let me ask you this, CP.
Perfect example of what Milwaukee has to do.
Yeah. No, I agree with you on that. But let me ask you this. If you Giannis, do you go to OKC?
No. He's European, bro. You got it. Y'all thinking like Americans. Y'all thinking like Americans.
Because to me, if he's going to leave, he's trying to go get a ring and solidify some rings at this point.
He has a ring. He's not. He's an American.
But
he's not a ring chaser. He wants to win a ring, but he's not. He's not. I need to go here because I got to win X amount of rings to be the GOAT. You know what I mean? He's man. That
and you know, it's the key word is like you said. The key word, CP, is what you said. He European because the traditional all-star in America on the second tenure in the second half of his career, he's gonna look to say where I can stay relevant.
Right. Why you think Giannis done signed 3 contracts? His rookie contract, another contract, and the third contract. That's unheard of. He signed 3 contracts in Milwaukee already. He's been there 10 years or so.
Yeah.
Your American superstar is not staying in Milwaukee all that time. Giannis don't care if he goes to. It's not about where he goes for fame or this or that. He still has that European mindset. So he'll go to a team like OKC or somewhere like that. And again, OKC
he'll go where the check. He'll go where the check gonna go.
A chance for him to win. You see what I'm saying? And if he goes to OKC, it's over too. If they can keep some of their pieces, because again, OKC guys, and I'm not saying this as a joke. But if y'all been keeping up with the league ever since, that's why they say OKC's GM, his name, I can't think his name right now, but their general manager is considered one of the best in the league, right? He's the same guy who drafted, Harden, KD, and all them, and he's still there. But they never really fell off. Maybe a couple seasons since all those guys left, and he rebuilt that team. But every time he traded Westbrook, every time he traded KD, every time he traded when he traded James Harden, when he traded Chris Paul when he came back, when he traded Paul George, all these people, you know what they got back?
Serge Ibaka.
Maybe, but those guys I named, they got all picks back, not players. They got Paul George alone, they got like 3 or 4 first-round picks. KD, when they traded him, they got 3 or 4 first-round picks. They traded Westbrook, got 3 or 4 first-round picks. Harden, 3 or 4 first-round picks. So they still have the most first-round picks available. They have first-round picks all the way through like 2030.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying? So it ain't nothing for them. They can call in Milwaukee, bro. I give you 10 first-round picks right now, and they have them. And they can get Giannis. The Knicks,
and that would be ideal.
I don't know how the hell The Knicks gave up 5 first-round picks just for Mikal Bridges.
They
You know what
did
I'm
do
saying?
that. They did do that. They
So
did.
how many you think Giannis gonna get?
He
You
gonna
know
get a
what
lot
I
of
mean?
them. He gonna get a lot.
Yeah.
That's how you have to build when you're a small market, bro. You're not
Yeah.
Exactly.
because the Cleveland got lucky. They're the same way. They built through the draft, and then they end up getting Mitchell in a trade. But remember, everyone thought Mitchell wasn't going to stay there after the next year. He re-upped with him. So if
Yeah,
you're good
Mitchell
enough
felt
to have
comfortable.
pieces in place, then you might get a superstar in maybe a trade situation that might be
Yeah.
like, you know what, I'm gonna stay here and resign. But that's how
Yeah.
you getting it. You got to get them picks, man. You know,
Yeah.
Milwaukee don't need no
Yeah.
players. They're Milwaukee. They don't need no players. And they're like, oh, they got to keep the side. If Milwaukee bottom back out, there's still no one's gonna give a shit. They're gonna be like,
Nope.
oh my God, Milwaukee, they rebuilding. They're starting all over. They're Milwaukee.
Right.
You won't even notice.
I
Did you
agree with that
notice when
100%.
OKC tanked? Was sorry for them couple years recently. The league didn't even notice.
Right.
The
Right.
Lakers get bounced in the first round, and the league losing their mind. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
Mhm.
because LeBron. That's why.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next topic, which is the Knicks versus Detroit. How do we feel about that one? Went to Game 7. How do we feel about that one?
I think the right team won. The favorite team won.
Okay.
If you look at it, New York's been one of the, I ain't gonna say the top team, but in the last couple years, they've
always
really
been
been
the
a
Knicks.
they've
Right.
been a really good Eastern
Yeah.
Conference team. Last year they made it to the Eastern Conference Finals? So yeah, they were supposed to win.
Yeah.
Detroit last year. This is a great season for Detroit. Don't get me wrong,
Amazing
great
season.
season. They're young, they're
Amazing.
building. I mean, I think they won a total of 30 games total in the last 2 or 3 years before this. And this year, I think they came close to maybe 40 wins or something like that. And so made it tough, gritty. New York, they gave, that series didn't surprise me. It surprised me that, Detroit showed something I didn't know they had. I was like, whoa, they improved.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Cade Cunningham looked like the first round pick this year. I mean, the number 1 overall pick. He actually looked like that. Well, he started last year, but this year he actually looked like that. They got the Thompson twin, whose brother, was Houston giving Golden State hell. The other, the twin, the Thompson, he's in Detroit. He's young. They got some young talent, got some veterans. So, but the right team won.
They remind me of last year's the Pacers team.
Right. So
Detroit remind me of last year's Pacers team. Sneak in, nobody expect you to do nothing. And you know what I mean? So shout out to Detroit though, because they definitely turned around, because I don't think they had a decent team since Ben Wallace back in the day. Tate Johnson.
No, they did not. Detroit has been one of them teams where
Trash. Hey, like my boy Bubba Dub. Hey, don't sue us, Bubba Dub, but you ain't gonna steal your term. Trash.
The one thing about Detroit, and this is what I'm gonna say about Detroit. Detroit has been one of them teams where would have a decent amount of picks, and they would just keep continuing building each year to try to find the right pieces that they need. And they would sneak in that nobody ever thought that the Pistons would ever make it this far, because they called them trash. Like the original,
they were trash.
They were, but then they were. But here's the thing. I was not expecting at all that the Detroit Pistons will ever make it this far, because
I mean, whoa, slow it down. They only made it to the first round.
They made the playoffs.
Right, but like, give them their flowers. They at least made it to at least.
That's why I gave them flowers.
Right, at least give it once. But at the same time, CB, like you said, we already knew who was gonna win that series, and that was the Knicks.
Who was supposed to win? Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'm just looking at that because I believe if the Knicks would have lost that series, I believe they would have fired their coach Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah,
my gosh, he would have been done.
Because he usually
Too much star power.
he wears out his welcome.
Exactly.
He'll come in, get your team together, make them tough as hell, play good ball, but he gonna grind them to where they complained early in the season. I don't know if y'all saw in the media when they complained that he's known for grinding you into the dirt, his players.
Yeah.
So you're so tired to where it's in a spot where I think they would have got rid of him, and they're in a good spot to bring in like an actual, maybe a better coach because they're there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he saved this job with this playoff victory.
Yeah. So let me ask you this then.
Okay.
All right. So let's move forward within that conversation.
All right.
Knicks Boston.
Ooh.
Now let me just say this, Aramis. You can put let's fact check because I told you, I said Boston was waiting, and I said Knicks should win that series, right? And then what did I say? Who has a chance to beat Boston? The Knicks.
The Knicks, 100%.
Boston.
The Knicks have a chance to beat Boston. It would be the Knicks.
Dude,
They're
did
not
we
deep
not?
enough. They're not deep enough.
Uncle
They're
Mo,
not deep enough.
did we not talk about this last season that we wanted the Knicks to face Boston?
Yeah.
But then they had Pacers.
Pacers screwed it up. And now here we go again. And CP, to what you just said, are you deep enough? Not so, because Boston is deepest, and they deep one of the deeper. They have the deepest bench in the Eastern Conference and close to comparable to the West.
And
So
they play
deep.
all their players in the playoffs. You
And
know
they
how
play
most
them all.
teams
So
in the playoffs,
it's gonna come
most
down
teams only
to
play 5 to 6 players. Boston
Yeah, they
still
gonna play them
running
all.
8 to 9.
100%.
Yep. The key to me on that thing is gonna be what's the white boy Porzingis. That's the name. Porzingis to me is the key to that whole series again, just like it was last year when Porzingis showed up and he was the X factor. So I think that with the deep as they are, that series still comes down to Porzingis, in my opinion.
I don't know, man. I mean, it could possibly, but the reason I'm just so confident in Boston at 6 because, listen, like you just said, I'm not just this Boston fan like that. You got to give them guys their flowers. You know what I'm saying? People forgetting they're defending champs and ran through the playoffs, and they got everything. And even
he cut out.
Yeah. But to what he's saying, yeah, Boston did run through, and Aramis, we knew that they defended champs, and all kudos to them. And right now, what I told you, it's a collision course to me. In the Eastern Conference is going to come down to Boston and Cleveland.
100%.
So, I think that the only one that has a chance would be Knicks, and that's still, but I hope it's a good series. And so what do you get? A CP said 6. How many games do you think it'll determine that series?
I am giving, it's going to be a tough series, but I just don't see Knicks winning that series, but I probably
got Boston in what 6, 7, 5 sweep.
Nah, not sweep because Jalen Brunson ain't gonna let that slide. So I'll probably give Boston like a cool game. Let's say game 6. I'm gonna say. So
you got 6. CP says 6.
I got 6.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say
game 5.
No, I'm gonna say it's gonna go 7.
7,
and I still say Boston. But if it goes 7, that gives the Knicks opportunity. But I don't think the Knicks can beat them in less than 7 if they win. Yeah. So I'll give it Boston in 7.
Yeah. I think, but I wanna go back to UCP's point. How do we know for sure that Knicks have the kind of pieces to match up well against Boston? Because we know Boston.
They don't have the pieces, Aramis.
I'm back.
That's okay. Yeah.
Had some technical difficulties.
It's all good.
You're back. So now I'll finish CP. We'll give it right back to you. But Aramis asked me. I told him. He said you said Boston is 6. Aramis said Boston is 6. I said that. If anybody have a chance, it would be the Knicks.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then I said I still think I would go Boston in 7, but anything can happen in a game 7. And then, like I said, he was saying they don't have the pieces. And I said, here's a type of a situation where it goes back down to what you were saying about the Knicks coach. You have to be able to have some trust in your players. You can't wear them out in between practices because you need this to go to 7 because you're not going to sweep them. You're not going to win no other way to 7. And then, Aramis, if we want to circle all the way back to the Hack-a-Shaq, here's where coaching in this series, have to come out. So off the gate, in order for you to even see if this series is going to stretch to 7, the Knicks got to get a split in Boston. So, here's where you got to go and start going in intricately and have your coaching hat on. So now, if I was a coach in that, I would say, okay, I got a 2-game series and I need a split. You got to break it down into segments and see how I go. So for this series, in order for me, if I was coaching, I would break it down into 2-game stretches. You got to get a split. We got to get a split. If we can get a sweep, we win, instead of saying we got 7, because you got to squeeze all this in. And then now, here's where I employ a Hack-a-Shaq. I employ a Hack-a-Adams. I employ a Draymond walking the line, because everything is important here. You know what I mean? I'm running Tayshaun where we playing boxing. Tatum boxing 1, getting his head, headbutt, whatever you got to do to straddle the line without cheating, because I don't want to deploy a cheating or a factor that. But this is where you have to exhaust every opportunity to take down the defending champ. And Knicks has always been known to be a grind, punch you in the mouth team. They've always been that kind of team. So that has to mean that now that the games have to go back to old school. CP, remember old school games? 100 points. Ain't no 120. Ain't no 110. Defensive stance. You know what I mean? And I put Tatum on the line 30 times a game, and all of these things where the physicalness would have to come into play, in my opinion, for them to even have a shot to get to that game 7, and we go from there.
Yeah, and again, if the Knicks win the series, it wouldn't be like, oh, it's a big upset. But it'd be an upset. Don't get me wrong. These are the defending champions. But me personally, I wouldn't, it wouldn't be like, whoa, I'd be surprised, but I'd be like, oh, okay, because the Knicks are good. They are a good team.
Right.
And it is the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Anything could happen.
Definitely would have to be a low scoring series to favor the Knicks. If it's a low scoring series, that favors the Knicks.
Yeah. And then it's just that, man, Boston comes at you with waves and waves and waves of 3-point shooters. And the Knicks don't have all that shooting.
Nope.
You know what
they
I'm
don't
saying?
have all that shooting at all.
Boston comes at you with that.
That's just a big problem.
2 out of 3 shots, they taking a 3-pointer. You
know
what I mean?
Yeah,
they got shooters everywhere. 1 through 5
CP,
can shoot.
CP, that's where it goes back to coaching. You're gonna have to slow the game down. We running a half-court set. You know what I mean? It's a lot of little things you got to do to help you out. Because like you say, if you want to run, they gonna hurt you. Because as soon as you get into the bench, your bench gonna hurt you because you can't go as deep as them. You know what I mean? So it's a lot. This is going to be able to see where that coach for the Knicks really can get the best out of everybody and the best out of matches. Because, in this kind of series, if we had a dominant big man, I would run big ball. I would run big ball instead of small ball.
Right.
Slow the game down, feed it into the paint, make sure they go through 5-6 players to foul out the game because they can't stop that presence in the paint. This is where you create a series where you want to have a grind up and matchup opportunities and to slow the game down. Because if they get up and down the court like a traditional 120-point game, that's over. That's over.
Yeah. It'll definitely be a sweep. If they don't grind it out and slow this down, gentleman sweep. 4 games to 1, gentleman sweep. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Speaking of Porzingis, though, I did hear that Boston's probably gonna shake some stuff up at the end of the season. It's rumored he's gonna be a free agent. There you go, Golden State, Lakers. You know what I mean?
Wait,
There you
who?
go. Even though he's an
Porzingis?
injury-prone
Yeah.
guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
He's an injury
Ooh.
guy. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? That's why Boston still got old man Horford. Because you never
Yeah.
know when Porzingis gonna go down. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
No, but and this is my opinion on this whole series with Boston and the Knicks. Because I know the series didn't start yet, but I definitely do believe that the Knicks are going to have a hard time based on the scoring type. Because not only that, but you got Jalen Brunson who can score phenomenally, Karl Towns who can defend and score phenomenally. The As far as the 3-point shooting, that's going to be a rough time for the Knicks to do offensively. Defensively, I mean, like, you're going to have a hard time stopping Jalen Brown. You're going to have a hard time stopping Al Horford, Porzingis. You're going to have a hard time stopping them. But if you got Karl Anthony Towns, he can defend Al Horford, but Porzingis, he's just too tall, though. He just too tall.
And he
listen.
can shoot threes.
Karl Anthony Towns is supposed to punish Horford if they have any chance
But
in that series. Because if he can't average 15 and 10 that series against Horford, then what are we talking about here?
Right. That's my whole point too, is because not only did you require Karl Anthony Towns, okay, so you got a little bit of size, a little bit, but with a guy like him, Karl Anthony Towns, he could definitely put that kind of pressure on Al Horford.
But now, Aaron, you see what we just saying? Again, this is why I said matchups. If I was that Knicks, I would look to exploit that matchup from tip.
Exactly.
From tip. Ain't no get down and shoot a three. Nope. Half court set. We're going to get Townsend involved immediately and going after Horford and whoever their backup is and slow the game for that where you have to force Boston to pack the paint. And you hope you can get that kind of performance. And I've seen Townsend have spurts of stardom all throughout his career where he can step up to the plate. But I think that Brunson going to get his. But you need to have two other players get off in that series and become a threat to even have a chance to even beat Boston. And it's still, you can't overcome it. But, if you can get to a game 7, anything's possible.
Let's look at the Knicks roster real quick. So Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, K Towns, Bridges, Brunson, Robinson, McBride, Payne, and then the rest. Mm-hmm. So you definitely are gonna have to have OG Anunoby and K Towns to apply some pressure on defense, especially.
Yeah.
And
be a threat on offense. Because Boston is loaded with talent. They're loaded, so who are you picking in that series? You said you're taking Boston too, right? Yeah, everybody think Boston win, but like I said, Knicks can win in 7.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go with
CP. I was telling him in that series, this is where I tell you a half court set will come into play because you have to feed and go through Townsend and hope you can get him involved in the game, at a high level.
Now you just got kicked out again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he come back.
He come back in. But
what else we got?
We got okay. So we spoke on Warriors and Rockets right now. They're playing tonight. We spoke on Detroit and Pistons. We spoke on Detroit and Knicks. We just talked about those. We talked about let's go to Milwaukee and Pacers situation right now. Actually, you know what? I'm glad that we're gonna move on to Pacers and Milwaukee because Halliburton's dad towards the end of that game. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but Halliburton's dad walked onto the court, flagged Giannis and they got into like a little
Yeah.
not a scuffle.
Totally unacceptable. He should not be able to go. He should not be able to attend. He should be getting suspended a game or two, just like a player. I wouldn't suspend them forever, but I think that
they did.
They suspended him forever, or how many games?
They said this man can't. He can't attend to any like Pacer games or any game that his son is playing.
For lifetime suspension.
I believe. I think so. I'm at the fact check that real quick. But yeah, but
that's heavy. I mean, because end of the day, they allowed you to be on it because you're a player's parent, but you can't get involved where. Because what if he was, he could have, not to say he would have beat Giannis, but he could have assaulted the man. He coming out with that kind of energy and the end of the game, where's the gentleman's sportsmanship?
Exactly.
Hold on 1 second.
All right. Yeah. But my whole point is you like what gave you the mindset to just walk up to the court, flag a all-star pro that you lost the game because and I can't find the point where they discussed what's the time limit, not time limit, but to figure out how long he's going to be to suspend. But Halliburton on the press conference, he said that he apologized to the fans and to all of Milwaukee. That he said that I apologize. My dad was uncalled for. That was very
not professional.
Yeah. So he spoke to his father about that. He said, "Dude, you can't do that." Y'all said the same thing too. Like that was uncalled for, unnecessary. I don't tolerate the disrespect. I'm a great player. I'm a great human being, but the disrespect will not be tolerated. I agree 100%. And the NBA saw that thing go viral. They instantly just shut that down. Where he can't attend no games at all.
But let me tell you this: if that would have been like a Draymond Green or somebody, it would have been charges for him.
Oh my God, Jim would have swung.
So he went to the right dude. Yeah. He'd have went to the wrong dude. He'd have got dragged.
He would have got dragged 100%.
And what now? And you hope that never happens. But in the case that happened, would the player be wrong?
The player, that's a good question too. But I think to be honest, I feel like the player would be
remember you have malice within you because you sought me out.
Yeah.
And I could have perceived it that you were threatening to me because even if you look at the clip, it could have been perceived as a threat.
Right.
Run it back in your mind. What is your opinion on that?
Hold on. I'm trying to see if CP wants to. He's here.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Sorry, guys. I had some more. My setup. I'm using my phone, and I'm starting to use my computer because it seems like today everyone wants to call me. I usually get no phone calls. You know what I mean? But today, every time it resets my phone or something, I don't know.
Yeah, hold on, CB, while we got you. Hold on, CB, while we got you. Aaron's running back by what we was talking about because we brought up when Halliburton's dad came onto the court and called out Giannis.
Yeah, he like, nah, I don't know. But
Pops was tripping, man. Pops was tripping. Hey, I understand you happy for your boy. You revved up. You know what I'm saying? Because part of me is Pops. So I can see where he came from. But Pops,
I can see that.
That's not the Saturday Little League YMCA, Pops.
No. Right.
You can't run on the floor. You can't get into these people's face because you could be a crazy relative, and you can't do that. You can't get in their face. You can't just because your boy play in the league. You don't. You know what I mean?
Right. Now, CP, let me pose the same question that I posed to Aramis that I'm gonna pose to you. Now, first of all, if Halliburton's dad ran into court to any old school player, there would have been some charges being. There'd have been some hands being thrown. Run up on the Draymond. Run up on.
So Pops. Not everybody. Just in the league, people don't know who your Pops is. You know what I mean? Giannis. I mean, he might.
Let me name some names real quick. Let me name some names real quick. You got.
He run up on the wrong person. He got.
You got.
Dragged.
Hold on. You got Isaiah Stewart. You got Green.
Brad.
You got James Johnson for when he was.
He ran up on the right person because Giannis was nice enough. Giannis ain't gonna, Giannis didn't make it.
Let me ask you this.
Okay.
So if he was to did that to the wrong player, would the player would have been wrong for dragging him?
No.
In that scenario.
No.
He got up in his face. Now you're in my personal space.
He initiated the disrespect, and nobody's just gonna tolerate that. So really, it wouldn't be Giannis's fault. But again, the NBA is gonna see like it's both their faults. But in reality,
it's not Giannis' fault at all.
It's not.
Pop stepped on the court. You cannot
step
on the court.
You can't step on the court, ripping your team like
Pop got up out the seat and came up on the floor and it was holding the flag before he walked up on Giannis.
Right.
Like you can't do that, Pops.
Giannis, but the thing is too, Giannis approached him and be like, dude, bro, you good, bro? Like, bro, I understand we lost, and then whatever his pop said that initiated him. And they just start chirping. I'm like, yeah.
Banned him for the rest of the playoffs, right?
Yeah. Is it for the playoff? Because is he banned for the rest of the playoffs, or is it for the he's not lifetime banned though?
No, is a lifetime.
No,
but listen,
I just checked.
But they had to use that as an example because I don't care who you are, you cannot run on. You can't do on court. It's a security measure. You know what I mean?
And just like a player can't leave off the court to go in the fans. We already had that in Detroit happen before. Remember? Amos, are you familiar with that? When they ran Detroit, that's when they had
the Malice in the Palace.
They had Malice in the Palace. They had all of them boys back then and went up into the stands.
Hey, but Pops can't do that. Halliburton even said it like, Pops, you can't do that. And they did Pops wrong though, but they could have put Pops in the nosebleeds. They could have just said, Pops, you just got to sit in the nosebleeds. They like, man.
Yeah, for the whole playoffs.
And the thing about it, though, they kind of had to, though. Like I said, but did y'all hear Pops' excuse?
I didn't hear it. No, I didn't hear it. Please explain it. I need to hear
what
this.
Did he say? Yes. Yeah, we need to hear that.
Oh, my God.
It's the ultimate. Pop said, I'm sure y'all heard the expression. Once the toothpaste is out the tube, you can't get it back in. You know what I mean? That expression. That's an expression people say. Meaning once something is so fucked up, you can't take it back and put it back in. You know what I'm saying? So Pop's excuse, he said, I wasn't looking at Giannis. I wasn't taunting Giannis. I was looking through Giannis. Like what? That don't even make sense. He was like, I was staring at him. I wasn't staring. I was looking through him like Giannis was some type of cellophane.
I know he's lying. I know he's lying.
Pops was trying to say anything so they wouldn't ban his ass.
Hey, CP. Hey, he on that good shit.
Right, yeah, he is on that.
He on that good shit. Right?
I don't know, Amos. You might not remember this or might not have seen this. But I know, Ray, I know you have. Hey, you remember when LeBron was still with the Cavs right before he left, and he kept going up against Boston and KG and them. Remember when Remember when they roughed him up and LeBron mama ran on the court?
I've seen that.
They kept roughing him up. LeBron immediately. LeBron jumped up and told him, go sit your ass down.
That's right.
I think he said something like, get the fuck out of here, mom, go sit down. Because LeBron was like, you can't run. I'm a grown man. Like, especially that Boston team. I was like, your mama run over. You need your mama to run on the court to save you.
Yeah.
You know what's
They had
crazy?
KG, they had Shaq, Ray Allen,
Paul Pierce,
Paul Pierce. They was
Hey,
deep.
but
Rajon Rondo.
LeBron immediately was like, he grabbed his mama and was like, "Go sit your fucking ass down," because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
like I'm supposed to be the
Yeah.
dude, and you
Because
run up here like I'm a
because
10-year-old.
and LeBron had to do that because he don't want to be perceived as mama's boy. He was at a point, he coming into the league, you know what I mean? He already had all eyes on me because you skipped high school, skipped college.
And then
You
your mama
understand what
come
I'm
running
saying?
on the court because
And
they
here come
roughing
your
you up.
mama. 19 years old, and here come my mama.
No,
Come
he
on.
was older than that though. He was about, because this
He
was
was about
like this
21.
is this is
Yeah.
'08. You know what I mean? He
Yeah,
had
because
been in
remember,
the league
he
like
came in
5
the
years
league at
already.
18. He
Yeah,
came in at
yeah.
18, so he had to be like 21, 22, still a young boy.
And this when he was trying to get past Boston at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's when they had
Yeah.
just got the big three.
Yeah. And he ain't want no parts of KG and them. KG and them old school.
Pops Halliburton, you can't do that. But the excuse, like, bro, they already banned you. So stop trying to make an
Hey,
excuse.
Erebus, get our marketing person to call up Halliburton dad, see if we get him on here.
I gotta do like you feel
Bro
me?
said he was
See, we
saying
get
he
a shout out
wasn't.
to our
And have a
Halliburton dad.
conversation with Pops real quick, like, bro. You
Yeah,
can't do that,
let's get
bro.
him on here. See what he's talking about.
Pops Halliburton with that shit. Pops knew
Yeah,
better than that.
But my
Pops was
thing
sitting there.
is, too,
Pops was full of them beers. Probably smoked them 1 or 2 for the game.
he probably had a
Oh,
little
yeah.
bit of joints a little bit. That's probably a little right.
Hey, CP, he was on them shrooms. I'm looking through you.
Yeah. He
You're
might have
right.
been.
I'm
The
looking
boy said
through
he
you.
was looking through you.
That's a crazy statement, bro.
Bro, that's what this man's
man.
excuse.
If you saying that, bro, nah, man, I wasn't looking. I'm looking through you. Nah, bro, you on that one, bro. You can't.
He was on one. I'm telling you, he was on one. That
is a terrible excuse that you want to bring up, bro. Because you initiated that, and you may think that you did, but the way how Giannis saw it, nah, bro. You was looking at me. You was flagging that thing. I was like, no, come here, bro. Come here.
That's wild.
Actually, there. So I want to add that too, because remember when Jason Tatum he hurt his shooting wrist, and then when he went into the locker room, you saw his mom was like, his mom made a comment, said, you like, if you want, I can go in there and rep him up. I'm like, dude, no. No. So it's like, why do these parents think it's okay to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go in and
but it's like
out.
CP said, because they not too far removed. Because remember, before they started, I know all them kids playing AAU ball and high school ball and on the circuit, and back then, you know, and I went through, because and CPU too. Your kids play AAU ball and baseball and basketball and different things. You have to go out there and protect your asset too, because that's your greatest asset and prize. You have to go out there and still protect them, because the market ain't set up to protect the young athletes like that.
Right. Now though, Pops Halliburton got to sit down. Pops Halliburton, your son, an all-star, been in the league 5-6 years. He's the leader of the team. And by the way, he's already signed a max contract. Pop, sit your ass down. You know what I mean? Even Halliburton kind of said that in the interview. Like, I already told Pops that he can't be doing that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got to get – so Halliburton got to get his own security to go with his Pops from now on.
Yeah, he definitely do. Because you already know what's going to go down, man.
All right.
You already know. All right. So we pretty much covered half of the like almost the whole round one. So let me go to the bracket real quick. Hold on. Okay, yep. Okay. So we discussed LA and Minnesota. We discussed Knicks and Celtics. Let's go to Nuggets and Clippers. Let's do Nuggets and Clippers. That series right there kind of like blew my mind a little bit. Right. Now I want CP to go first, and then I want your input on that series. CP, what was the brightest moment about Clippers and Nuggets that really, like excite you the most?
That series had some the way the season ended for the Nuggets, firing their coach, their championship coach, and but their core was still there. So it was like they can probably go to the first round and get lose, or they can go to the first round and actually show out. And so at one point, LA played good ball. I never really considered them the favorite. Kawhi came back. He looked good at spurts. He didn't game 7, no, but he had some pretty good games. But other than that, I can't name a Clipper who really showed up in that whole series. You know what I mean? I think it was more Denver was playing, kind of trying to find themselves, and eventually they did. I think Denver could have got rid of the Clippers a little faster. The Clippers showed some flash, but I mean, they are who we thought they are. It's just a team with a couple good players and really a good coach. But they wasn't supposed to win that series. The good thing for Denver, speaking of what I noticed out that series, what was something that stood out for me watching that game yesterday, besides just they beat the hell out of the Clippers, was that it was like a switch turned on when I was watching that game. And it happened right after halftime. It was like, oh shit, like about 8 minutes into the third quarter. It was like Denver hit a couple shots, a couple people hit some shots, and it was like, oh shit, they looked like the championship team from a couple years ago. All of a sudden, Michael Porter Jr. was shooting the hell out the ball again. Aaron Gordon was playing. Jokic was really, he was just distributing. Westbrook was playing. Denver looked like a contender. Jamal Murray, they looked like a contender again, a very serious threat to win that title. And I can see it about 8 minutes into the third quarter. You can see when literally the light comes on, and I just felt while watching that game, I had a sense of, oh shit. No one's talking about Denver, but all of a sudden something just clicked to where Denver looks damn good right now. You know what I mean? Like, whoa. So it's like now we have to start. No one was talking about Denver in this whole thing. Now we got to start considering Denver as possibly, a championship team again.
And CP, so I agree with you. I didn't watch the whole game. I watched a little bit towards the end, and it was like it was over. But when I started watching the highlights, you don't want to wake them up. You know how you say you woke up?
It just seemed like they woke up.
You woke them up. They woke them up. And when I tell you that combination of players, they battle tested. Yeah. They've been through. Yeah. And then once you get them all going, and you can get Westbrook. See, people don't understand Westbrook. Westbrook is, he always do what he do. The triple-double master. There's no one got more triple-doubles than him, period, with the kind of, like you said, energy. So if you can get that kind of thing woke up, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
That's a big problem.
Man,
because
I'm telling you, and that's exactly what, Aaron, when you asked what stood out,
that's
what I noticed yesterday about 8 minutes into the third quarter. It was
is a problem, bro. And if Joker, if you wake all them boys up and you get Gordon and
Jamal Murray back, a little healthier, Porter.
Yeah, man. Listen, and you get Jamal. What's the guy's name? Murray, you get Murray going, and you got Joker where he facilitating, and he just being a piece in the puzzle without having to be the puzzle. That's dangerous. Scary. That's a very scary situation.
They're less than 2 years removed from winning the chip, and they were supposed to go on a little dynasty run. So it ain't like, oh shit. It's more like, oh shit, who woke Denver up? You know what I'm saying?
Not like, oh shit, surprise. Oh shit, no. Let's not let them boys get going. That's right. Now, who they play? Who did they advance to play? Who now?
OKC.
And see, so remember when I just said, remember CP and Aaron, remember what we said? when you get deep into these kind of games,
Yeah.
the young OKC, the young OKC can outrun them. But if Joker and them can get them to a game 6 or 7, you got to go Denver. And OKC number 1 seed.
That's just it. When you said outrun them, Denver's not old. See what I'm saying? So meaning they can run with the young Bucks. They not old LeBron, out of shape Luka. You know what I'm saying? These boys they're young too. Yeah, but they're young champions with the 3-time MVP and an experienced team. So Oklahoma, that's gonna be a damn good series right there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on a limb and say, because OKC is number 1 seed, right? OKC number 1 seed.
Yeah, I got Denver.
So OKC number 1 seed. Yeah. So I would say that.
I got that one.
No hate on OKC either.
No hate.
I mean, I like them.
I would say if it go a game 7, that to me I think that's a 7-game series. And if it goes 7, I'm going with Denver. Yeah.
I can see that as a 7-game series. But yeah, that one, I don't want to start talking about the second round yet. Get too much into it. But
right.
I was looking.
But that is scary. That's scary because that's the wrong people to wake up. That's the wrong team. You woke up the sleeping bear right there.
And a young sleeping bear, someone that was supposed to be on a dynasty run. You know, kind of like they're kind of like how I was talking about Minnesota, how people forgot they even though they didn't win a championship, but they started kind of this run to where they're supposed to be considered one of the top teams like 3 years ago. See what I'm saying? Denver, like 2-3, same with Denver. You know what I mean? Denver won the championship, but they still have their young core to where like, oh shit, we forgot about them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
you know what? And I don't mean to go back and forth, but you know what, guys, that was pivotal and it still plays in my mind is when we go back to the Minnesota Lakers series, is the one possession or two when they kept showing Ant full body pressuring LeBron, bouncing him around, elbowing him, pushing him back. That gave me a flashback of old school basketball the way it used to be played.
Yeah. It was like
that right there. If you go back and look at that segment where Ant was bodying LeBron up from the top, not waiting until he got across half court.
Yeah, he was
doing it from the beginning. Soon as they went to inbound the ball, he was picking LeBron up full court, bodying him.
Yeah, that's how they used to play, man. You know,
that's how you should be playing. You know what I'm saying? Like if you know that in the right mind that LA is the ticket goal to win that series, you are already locked in, and that makes you want to prove that because he loves that. He loves when the team is picked over him because you know what? We gonna be that team to run through these boys and be like, okay, so LA's supposed to win, right? No, Warriors in 5. I mean, Wolves in 5. My bad. I mean, Wolves in 5, and they proved it.
Yeah. And
now,
then, you know,
that just reminded me. I had a flashback of old school. You know what that that gave me a flashback when Jordan played the Knicks.
Oh yeah,
you remember it was rough.
Bullet ball. You know what I'm saying? It was a street.
You know what I'm saying? It was rough back then, bro. So it definitely gave me a flashback, and I said that's a damn shame that the NBA allowed themselves to get rid of that, and then it's kind of borderline. I'm gonna ask your opinion on this. So, how does the NBA manage it where you went to playing European style basketball? You look at LeBron in that whole series. You know what stood out to me was when Ant-Man was giving him the business and they was playing real physical, and LeBron was giving it back to him. But in the end, LeBron ended up flopping, or I don't even flop, but he ended up falling down, rolling, and then he was looking for a call and all of this stuff. And back in the day, you're not getting them calls. So how does the NBA transition from all of European ball, and then you still allow some physicality to come into the playoffs without letting it go back to old school, because that'll be a problem. The rules ain't set up like that, but yet and still, I just saw Ant do it. And any other time, the rest would have gave them, a flagrant one or something like that. Because if it was Draymond doing it, they'd have been blew the whistle.
Oh yeah,
of course.
They gave Draymond a tech.
But so that's my question to y'all, and I'm gonna paraphrase. Y'all can take from there. How do you transition that? Because now a young boy and the future of the league can do it, but then you get an old school guy and he the watchdog of the team. If he did it, it would have been a foul. We all know this to be true. So how do you manage to bring back some physicality in the game? Because at the end of the day, that's how you're going to challenge to see mano a mano in that kind of setup.
Yeah, they'll give you, but they'll give you a little physicality. They'll go to everybody, but eventually they call the foul on Ant too. They'll let you do it a little bit, but he kept doing it, so it was like, come on, young boy, we let you get a little something, but you can't.
That boy LeBron was crying though. That boy LeBron was like, bro, you see this? Man, grow up, man.
Well, listen, on that aspect, that's the rule. So I'll give it.
I don't care
because LeBron could go do it the same thing.
Ant was putting in work. He said, I don't care how old you. I don't care if you're the greatest. Man, this young buck energy right here. You know what I mean?
Well, you just gotta understand. He understands, and as a young player, Ant even understands that you can walk. It's the playoffs, so you gotta walk that line in between. I'm gonna go to where they tell me I can't do it no more. Like what we were saying earlier when we were talking about Draymond, got to go out there, and it ain't that he's doing it. A lot of it just to, because he's dumb or not dumb, but because he's just not playing smart basketball.
Because that's how he
sometimes plays. Smart basketball is let me keep going in these playoffs. Let me see what they're gonna let me get away with. Because if I can get in somebody's head on a hard foul or just something like that, and get away with it real fast, I'm going to walk that line. And Ant just walked that line until they called the foul. You see what I'm saying? So that's all part of, smart players, superstars, they understand that. Again, bring it back to Draymond. He understands that I'm going to walk this line until they go, because they're not going to call everything, but I might get a steal, get a turnover call, or I might get somebody out the game. You never know.
I like the tenacity that Ant gave, and then I wish, I would hope that the league will allow them to, like you said, because you want to keep control of the game, and I understand that. We all want good basketball, but at the end of the day, you still, and that's why I say, so somebody, I forget where I was at, but somebody was posing a question, or somewhere I was at, where they were saying, would Shaq be able to be the dominant force that he was in his career in today's age with the rules?
Right.
Because Shaq, go look him up, Aramis, and Shaq Prime, Shaq he would move you because he's just such a big force, hooking and spinning. When Shaq spent, he chinned the ball here. He chinned the ball and spin. So elbow could catch you in the mouth. He done got to a few fights with Mark. A few people caught it in the mouth. Then he would bend over and do his wide spin. So you could say, hey, he was hooking. He was doing this and that.
Unstoppable, bro.
So let me ask you that. Do y'all think that Shaq would be dominant in today's age with the rules?
I think he would, and when I say would, well, I think he would be as dominant, and it's not so much the rules that would cause it. You know what I mean? Because Shaq they beat the shit out of Shaq, right? He was the most dominant player in the world, the NBA ever seen, dominant force. But at the same time, Shaq should have been averaging 100 free throws a game, because that was 20 fouls a game, like blatant fouls.
They would stop calling because they were saying he's so big, he should be okay with that.
They would let him out. They would let you just beat the shit. As much as Bruce Z game, they let you beat the shit out of Shaq. But the rules of today's game, not so much the physicality. He would still be as dominant, but he wouldn't have the opportunity to be as dominant because now, just like bigs now, they could be dominant, right? But the team, the way the ball is played now, you know what I mean? The threes and all that. It's not about the low post game, right? So that's why he wouldn't be as dominant. Now, if they came down every time and dumped him the ball, like in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s, oh yeah, he would still be as dominant, but the teams don't play that way no more. I was telling him, bro, I was like, Shaq would still be as dominant, and not so much as the rules would stop him, but it was so much of the way ball is played now. Teams don't play down low offense no more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So CP, let me ask you this. So let's go back and forth. So now, if you saying the way the teams now because they shoot the three ball like crazy. So now let's put this scenario out there. Okay, we got Shaq on one team, Steph on another team, whatever the case may be. Golden State go down or Steph go down and shoot a three. Next play, I slow it up, go old school ball, Chris, give it to feed Shaq. He get an and one and a foul, go to the line. And so now if you keep doing that, at some point, what's going to eclipse the game? Because the middle part, the team with the shoot the three ball, they're going to start fouling out in the middle. And then at what point does the game still change where they still keep shooting the three and don't worry about fouling out? So how would that maturate if you took that kind of style?
Coach, I'm jumping at the Shaq every goddamn time. I don't care what era we're playing in. You know what I'm saying? Right. Every time.
Right.
But like I said, that's the whole enigma about this whole NBA now. Like you got guys that could be just as dominant, but they won't because we're so far advanced in the way basketball has changed now to where bigs that are in the game now don't even know about that type of basketball. Someone like me or you, Ray, that's been watching basketball a little older and seen it forever, we look at them like, man, get your ass down low. You'll be dominant.
Right.
They don't
Call
know
for the
that
ball
because,
in the paint.
well, that's not how they came up playing ball. It's been that far long now. Like bigs don't come up. They don't know about the paint. They don't know that they can be as dominant as hell. You see what I'm saying?
Aaron, how do you feel about because you're a young player. That's why I love basketball truth now because we have old school and new school guard. So let me ask this, Aaron, with your knowledge of the game, would you prefer the today's style or the old school style? And you're new school.
I prefer the old school.
Right.
Old school is better.
No one plays it no more. Like I was saying with the bigs, like I'd be looking at this. Like again, I'm looking at TV and like some of them guys, I'm like, man, get your big ass down low. You'll kill everybody. But they don't even know in there. They didn't come up with. They came up in today's basketball, so it doesn't even register in their mind how big they are. And like I can put you down. You can literally tell them, go down low, back up, but they don't know. They don't have a back to a basket game. Bigs don't know what that is. They don't have that no more.
Yeah.
Hell, more guards got a back to the basketball game back to this day than big. So that's why when I look at them, they really don't know that you could go down there, catch the ball, back the person in, and be just as dominant. You know what I mean? But also that's the advancement of the game because now bigs can play damn near all five positions. Look at Wemby, right? So,
but now, CB, does you think so? Because you used the key word, you said that's the advancement of the game.
Of the game. So
with that being said, do you think that the advancement of the game is hindering the game at some point? Because if you're advancing is a positive. But to me, I'm still trying to see that that's a negative because we have an old school guy. I mean, a new school guy that's saying he prefers it. So when you say the word advancing, is it advancing because of the positive or a negative behind that?
Well, I don't even think it's a positive or a negative thing because no one looks at it like that, right? I look at it as I could perceive it as a negative, right? But
Mhm.
the way the game has evolved, it's not seen. It's just not anything considered, right? It's not even a big enough thing to be that people think about to be like, oh man, it's negative. They should be playing it this way because the game is more of a wide open, not just threes. It's more of a wide open positionless game, right? So it's not even a thing to where people look at it as a negative or a positive. You see what I'm saying?
But it still takes the art. Basketball is an art, right?
Right.
Oh
So
yeah, it's a
if we say we
phenomenal
take the
art.
players and we can take a big man and put him on the wing. Lawambi, he can go out on the wing and shoot a three and all that. Okay,
Right.
that's fine. I can take a Westbrook and take you to the basket off the dribble. Okay, that's fine. Hard and all that. But at the end of the day, you're still taking a skill set where I can take you off the dribble and turn my back
Right.
as a skill set. That's a legitimate skill set
No, I get
to
it,
still
but
have.
no one. I guess coaches and people in the game, starting from YMCA, AAU, and all that. That's just not how the game is taught no more. You know what I
Wow.
mean? Which is crazy to me. And I get it.
Right.
Part of it, it's a positionless game now, for the most part, right? So bigs don't know they bigs. Bigs know they could be a guard. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those things, man.
Yeah, but
I-
okay. So now, Aramis, let me ask you this.
What's up?
CP just said the game is advanced and evolved to where it's a positionless game. Positionless game. So then why? But we still have
It's
people
crazy.
listed in positions.
Yeah. In a
Because then
way,
why are we not calling Wambi a prototype guard? Because now you're just saying everybody is spread out and we can do everything. So I don't get it, because so does this hurt the league or does it help the league that we stand in this new transition? Does it hurt the league?
I don't even think people even look at it like it's hurting the league, because the people that like us, a little older, you know what I mean? Like, we're a dying breed almost.
Nah, it's
Like,
hurting the league, all right.
yeah, in a sense of, my lens. I said, and we're almost in we're dying breed. Our thought process is, the league is past that. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
Right.
it's not all the people that's involved in the league now, from coaching, players. That's all how they came up. So that whole thought process, how we're thinking, right?
Right.
It's not there no more in the circles of basketball. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? To even be considered, if this negative or this that, almost like it's so old school. It's not even like part of the game. It's like today's style. That's what people look at, and again, it's been like that now for the better part of 15 or so years. So
Exactly.
Right.
it's past the point of, man, let's bring it back to dropping the ball down low. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
guys that think like us,
Right.
those days are gone. So it's like
Right.
that thought process is not even considered no more. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And now it's so, I want to say it'll work. The game is evolved into such a different game now. It might not work. We want to say it will. Just drop a big man down there and put his back to a basket, score a million points. But
Right.
it might not work. You see what I'm saying? We think it would. I mean, but if I'm a player in today's game, if I'm big ass Joel Embiid, or I'm big ass goddamn Carl Anthony Towns, you should know. Get your big ass down there and goddamn turn around and just dunk the ball in the basket.
I mean, to me, it goes in situational. Do all what you want. When we get into the serious sections of the game, then you should be doing that, because, at the end of the day, that's a art that's lost, and it's sad for the league. It's a lost art.
Almost like you'll have your dinosaurs, like your Steven Adams, that's still useful. But there's not many of those guys that, and they only play back to the basket game because that's all they got. And those guys are still useful, right?
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's just not there. They don't even register. They're like going back to the basket is so. I mean, it's the same reason why a guy would be on a goddamn. It'd be a 2-on-1 break, and the stop and pull up at the 3-point line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In my day, I seen guys a 1-on-nobody break and stop and shoot the 3. Man, in my day, you have to be on the bench. I don't care what level. You might never play the game again. You do some shit like that. Now you're expected to do that. If you keep trying to go to the layup, you might get benched. You know what I mean? Because you didn't pull up and take the open 3.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
We was always taught that mathematics of basketball is the closer you are to the rim, the higher percentage of your shot.
Right. Yeah. So now, like
do you agree with that, Aramis? Yeah. Do you agree with that? The closer you are to the rim, the higher percentage of your shot.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. Because like when you look at the shooting, like the shooting chances of where you are on the court. So when you have a big man who is at the rim, there's a high chance of you scoring that basket.
Right.
But it's just a matter of like how you score it.
Right.
So everybody knows when you drive to that basket, there's a high chance that you're making it because it's either a layup for a guard, it's a layup or it's a floater or something. But as a big man, it's either a turnaround lay or a back you down and slam it on you. You feel me? But it's just
big man now. Like, let me get it and kick it out to my open 3-point shooter.
So,
you know what I'm saying?
Hey, nephew. Let me shoot the drink. You feel me?
Yeah, well, that's how they taught. It's wild. And then in my day, I grew up. One of my favorite players of all time, big man especially, is Hakeem Olajuwon. Now, back when the Rockets won the championships many moons ago, and Hakeem was the guy, they played drop it down low. That's how teams play, drop it down low. And the only time they kicked it out is after they had been dropping the ball down low all game, and the big man had been killing them down low, or whatever big man you was. Now you have open shots on the outside, right?
Right.
Yeah, but you know why, CP? Because to what you said, they would dump it in, and the reason why he would dump it, he would even look to kick it out because he drew the double. Once he drew the double, now your man should be sitting on the wing wide open. And other than that, you got 1-on-1. There's no need for you. You take 1-on-1 to the basket. Why would you kick it? I don't like when people kick it out when I got a 1-on-1, and instead of you imploding your will on the person, draw a foul. Because if you miss, 90% of the time you're going to get called for the foul if you go in hard. But that's how the game should be played, or at least that's how it was played back in the day.
Now it's dump it down low. I don't care if you 1-on-1. I don't care. I'm just dumping it down low to give an extra second for my shooters to run to their spots. Now it's like, big man, they dump it down low, but don't think about shooting it. I'm only dumping it down low so you can find the shooter back out to the open man for the 3.
And in case in point, what you just said, CP. Now, when that happens, and watch today's games if you see it. If they dump it down, certain players get the ball. The defense ain't even worried about them shooting.
No.
They already hedging to double your pass.
Yeah.
Because you got the ball in the paint and you're not even looking to shoot. That should be go sit your ass down. Yeah. Go sit down. Because you're not even out here looking to be offensively minded, and you're 2 feet, 4 feet, 5 feet from the basket.
Your point you just said, that's the exact opposite. If you don't pass it back out, they're gonna come sit your ass down, which is crazy. So
I'm 5 feet from the basket. Either I turn and shoot it, or if I'm even a great shooter, let me turn and drive it to the basket and try to get the foul. That's where I say coaching is getting away, because this is still an art of the game that's being lost, and it can help you when we get into this kind of situation, because those kind of play help you when you're in the playoffs.
Right.
But like I say, that they're actually taught, which is crazy. As soon as they get it, they hot potato. Boom, boom. They ain't even looking. Sometimes it be nobody behind them. It be 1 feet.
Right.
They don't even turn. Back in the day, you got the ball. You do this, lean back. You do the look. You know what I mean? Just when you're right behind you as a big man.
Wait. Now, CP, explain it to Aramis. He may already know, but when you just said you catch the ball and you lean back, why are you leaning back? Because you're trying to feel where the defense is.
Which way you gonna spin off? You know what I'm saying? Even if you go now, as soon as they get it, ain't no lean back. They get it, boom, boom, right back out. It could be literally nobody behind them in the basket right there, but they're not even looking.
Right.
That's crazy.
That's how they're taught now.
Unbelievable, bro.
Unbelievable.
That hurts you. That style of play to me hurts you when you get into the playoffs, and where that becomes applicable is because now you're not even strategizing. You took 3 or 4 strategies off the table because you're not even implementing any paint play.
Yep.
The only thing now the paint means is you can get a 3-second call.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep. All right. Okay, we got one more thing to discuss, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up. Greg Popovich. This is his last time as a head coach. He is now a team president. We have a new head coach for the San Antonio Spurs. I want y'all to give me a little history run with Greg Popovich, because the only thing I remember of him was when Tim Duncan was still here with the Spurs and Kawhi. But I want a little history, about Popovich. So just
I'm gonna let you talk because you already know it's the same. CP, you go ahead. CP, you go ahead.
It was time. I mean, he's not old. I mean, he's not young. That's what I mean. Like a lot of coaches, it was time. He's been having a lot of health problems. Wife passed away a few years ago, and then also it was just time. I mean, it was just time. And so it was time. He's right back where he's comfortable at. So to give you a little history about Popovich, Popovich was actually the GM for the general manager. He was the assistant general manager, I believe, for the Spurs back in 95, 96, or something like that. He hired the coach.
Way back when he had Robinson and all of them until Duncan got drafted.
I believe he was the assistant, right? The assistant GM or somewhere in the front office like that. I don't think he was a GM, but something like that. Okay. Spurs are terrible, right? They drafted Tim Duncan. Popovich decided to become the coach. Like I believe either that year.
No, wait, CP. They had drafted David Robinson,
right?
And he was in the Navy, and he was in the Navy, and then he had to wait.
Yeah, but Pop wasn't even with them. No, Pop wasn't even, because remember they drafted Robinson in like 1990, even though he didn't play in the league till like 92. Pop was in the front office. I believe, if I'm wrong, he was in around the 96, 97. He was in the front office. You know what I'm saying? I think he was the assistant general manager or maybe general manager or somewhere around like that. They were terrible. They drafted Tim Duncan. Pop decided to become the coach. Either the year before that or I think that very year. And since then, the rest was history. They tanked. This is another thing. The Spurs are really good from like 92 to like 96. David Robinson even won the MVP in 95. They came close to winning championships, but they ran into, when Michael Jordan retired, they ran into the Rockets, the Houston Rockets in the West. And the Rockets kept beating them, right? And they were damn good. Damn good. But then something happened. I don't remember. I think Robinson got hurt. I think around the year before they drafted Tim Duncan that year. So they decided to tank. That's when you first heard of tanking. They literally decided to tank to try to get Tim Duncan. And
And
it
they got
worked
him.
out. It worked out because they were damn good. They wasn't like this team like sorry as hell. And then no, they were good as hell, one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
up until that year, it was time to draft Duncan because they traded Rodman. People forget Rodman was on that team for a second. They traded Rodman. David Robinson was literally the league's MVP the year before, but got hurt. And they lost to Houston twice in the playoffs. And that's the same 2 years that Houston went on to win the championships.
Yep.
So there's 1 year you have this great team. Their best player gets hurt. All of a sudden, they were like, you know what? Tim Duncan's coming out next year, basically. Let's just tank. They literally set David Robinson.
The reason why they tank, I ain't gonna say the reason why they tank, but the thought process was because they was gonna take Tim. They thought Robinson was gonna still continue to get injuries, and Tim Duncan was supposed to take his place. And then they had a dual run for a couple of years. But once Popovich came head coach, they became so significant in the league that they won 5 championships in 11 years or 12 year span. So they were winning like almost every other year in the dynasty under Tim Duncan with various players that come through. Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker. They even had my man Big Shot Rob. They had several players that came through San Antonio, and he ended up leaving San Antonio. Big Shot left San Antonio to go to the Rockets.
No, that was the last one. San Antonio was the last one for Big Shot. He started with the Rockets.
Okay. Yeah, you know
so back to Popovich though. Pop was in the front office. Spurs were a damn good team. David Robinson gets hurt the year there was time to draft Tim Duncan. Hopefully, they decide to sit David Robinson. Comes out the front office. They draft Tim Duncan. Pops comes out the front office. Now you got David Robinson back fully healthy and still in his prime. So now they got what was known as a twin tower combination. 2 years later, they won their first championship in '99. Then they won again in 2001. David Robinson was still on the team. After that, they went on to win 2 or 3 more. And I think their last one was the one when they beat LeBron and Miami Heat. What was it? When Kawhi was still there. That was that last. So that's the history with Pop. Pop changed a lot of things in the game. For one, he's one of the first people to be like, you know what, I'm going to come out the front office with no coaching experience and coach the team, right? So instead of hiring another coach, he just hired himself, right? Took over the team. And like every good coach, it takes good players and timing. So he went on this run. He was the first guy to also start getting the Euros, the European players, and actually working with them within that system. It helps when you had Tim Duncan and David Robinson too. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
So
he had a good foundation piece.
Yeah, he had that foundation piece, and he changed the style with all the Europeans he had. Pop was significant with the European style. Pop was significant in just the way he coached and the way he played. Pop also started the what they call it now, load management. He was doing that shit back in the 2000s, early 2000s. He would sit his best players for rest. So I mean, the man's a sure first ballot Hall of Fame coach, great GM. He had the audacity, in the vision though, actually, to come out the front office. It helps that he knew it was getting Tim Duncan and be like, I'm gonna coach the team, and it turns out he was actually he was one of the best coaches to ever do it, and he a lot of innovation, very smart, hard on his players. He was a teacher of the game. You know what I mean? Yeah. And he ran his system, and teams respected him. I mean, he was the Belichick. He was the Belichick of basketball. Meaning, when you came there, your ass was gonna fall in line. You know what I mean? And you're gonna win championships. And it helped though that he had goddamn Tim Duncan all them years. When you could do that. Kind of like Belichick had Brady all them years and was like, I can do this.
To me, I say Pops was top 5 all time.
Yeah, definitely.
Top 5. Top
Yeah,
5 all
but
time. Coach of
but
the
just
NBA.
but just the history part areas that I want you to know, like, yeah, he came out the front office and was like, I'm a
That's
coach.
crazy.
And from then on, I mean, he went on a legendary run. So yeah, and it helped again. He had Tim Duncan, but it was time though. I mean, Pop
Yeah,
got young. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And it was time. But yeah, that's the history of him, man.
yeah,
Pop wasn't
yeah.
one of them coaches was grinding his whole life and but Pop was like, I'm gonna coach this. I'm gonna come down and do this. But before that, the Spurs wasn't sorry. They wasn't one of them teams. They were just sorry the year before it was the same year that Tim Duncan was eligible. And they set Robinson. They literally was like, no, let's go on and sit because they wanted to make sure they had a chance to get Tim Duncan, and it worked out. And the rest is history.
100%.
And that was a Pop call too, because then he was in the front office then. So that was a Pop call to be like, nah, big fella, we're gonna go and sit you down and let's tank.
Right, yeah. And shout out to Pop though, man. Listen, he gave us a lot of memories. I remember Ginobili,
Yeah,
Parker. Oh my
I
God.
remember all that. Yeah, Parker was a problem too, man.
What?
Parker Ginobili.
young Steven Jackson won championships there.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of players.
Yeah, Kawhi came out of Spurs.
Yeah.
Then Kawhi left the Spurs, got traded to Toronto and won his first chip.
Yeah, but Pop handled, Pop would handle play. Pop developed players.
He got two, right?
I think Kawhi won one in the Spurs and one in Toronto.
Yeah,
and going back to Pop though, Pop was the greatest thing about Pop. Pop actually developed his players. Pop didn't get a lot of super. They was on a run all this time. They never was able to get top picks. Once they got Duncan, Pop would just get second rounders, late first round guys off the street, and he developed them. Kawhi was a middle first rounder, late first round, whatever.
Yeah, he was.
He developed. If y'all go back and watch Kawhi's first 2, 3, 4 years or whatever with the Spurs, before first 4, he barely played. Like his first year, he barely played. Second year, I think Pop put him in the lineup, but he never shot the ball. He played defense and he didn't have really a shot or offensive game then. But Pop developed him slowly into a defensive player, built his confidence, and let him find his offense, for the first 4 years. And then that's why when he went to Toronto, that's when the first time he actually became like the man. In San Antonio, 2, 3 years, he was just fitting in. And then he never really was the guy. You know what I mean? The way their system was set up.
Him and Van Fleet was doing their thing. That's what Van Fleet was with.
To Pops though, because Pop again developed Kawhi he let him develop into the player he is today. Before he traded him.
Yeah, and
he was glad great at that.
Remember Aramis, my all-time player. Well, not my all-time player, but one of my most favorite players, young boy, is the alien, Wambi. And I'm glad that he got some toolage under Pop because I know Pop got him going in the right direction.
Yep, he did. So Pop left at a good time, man. The Spurs are set up, man. They end up getting De'Aaron Fox in the trade, young guy from H-Town.
Who's gonna be their coach? Who's the coach they get?
It might be somebody coming out the front office knowing Pops. Whoever it is, it's gonna be somebody in that system.
So
knows that system.
So this head coach was a assistant head coach, and he's now the head coach. Let me see if I can find it. But
he the interim coach.
Yeah, he the interim.
He knew. It is probably going to be somebody that traditionally that came up under Pop system, and I know who it would be right away if he didn't have a job already. It would be Ime Udoka, the Rockets coach.
Okay.
He's a disciple of Popovich. He played for the Spurs towards the end, and he was an assistant coach. The first coaching gig, all that for years was San Antonio. like when he went to Boston, he came off of San Antonio's bench as an assistant coach. And you can tell how he coaches. He's a Greg Popovich disciple. So he would definitely be that, but he has a job. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So to be somebody who actually coached under Pop's tree. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Pop did it a long time, so I agree that it's time. But you know, he had a lot of memorable teams, boy. I tell you, you never counted. As long as he was coach, you never counted Spurs out of any season.
Nah, they were good. They were always going to be the top. Again, he also had Tim Duncan most of the years. So, but
yeah.
All right.
Big basic.
All right. So the head coach is Mitch Johnson. He was the assistant head coach behind Popovich.
There you go. Let's just keep him because they did. They played some good ball towards the end of the season.
Yeah, they did with him. Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they need another. They just need another piece, and that's it. Because
they need one.
Going to be what, vice president of basketball operation or president of so he's not going on the outside and bringing some coach in that's never coached under him in that system. You can bet that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He's staying in house. Right. He gonna stay in house and got the resume to support it.
You can bet that. You know what I mean?
100%.
That's all right, CP. They may call you up, might need some general consultant. You never know.
And I'm down the street. You know what I'm saying? I'm an hour and a half from San Antonio. You know what I mean? I'm down the street.
Oh, man. I love it.
Shout out. You know what I'm saying?
All right. It is 5:25. We have reached the end of today's.
Man, that's a good show today, man. 2 hours. We had a lot to talk about. That was good shit. Good shit.
We did. All right. This time we're gonna do the outro because the beginning I was a little fired up. I had to get off my chest.
Hey, you still got you still got a couple hours now. For the game start.
You trolling on the show today, bro.
I think he forgot. You know what I'm saying? I think
I forget.
The game was coming on.
I
expected him to be like, look, we gotta cut this.
I don't know. Hey, Airman, CP said he got Rockets winning by 25 tonight.
Hey, but they got playoff Jimmy and they got Steph, so you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I got a few announcements. I'll probably say I got 2 announcements right now. So each content for as far as playoffs will be a little different. Because last year, Uncle Ramon, I know last year we did for like every game we made a video about the playoff run. So but this year it's gonna be a little different. I think that we're gonna wait until round 2 finishes so that we can dive deeper.
Let's do that
into round 2, and then we'll give our thoughts how we feel about it. If there are some things that we thought that went very well, or there were some big upsets, we will discuss that till round 2 is over, and then we'll keep doing that until the playoffs and finals is completely over. Same thing for the finals. Once finals over, we'll do the same thing for that. If you guys like that idea, put it down in the comments, and then like it up, comment, and let us know, and then we will continue to keep doing that for remaining of the Basketball for Knowledge podcast channel.
We got to get some WNBA news because preseason is starting up.
Preseason, they started.
WNBA is about to crack off. It's about time. Get my girl out here, Angel Reese, in the building. Let's get it.
We will find a point in time where we can squeeze that in as far as WNBA. I did see one game of that of the preseason. I saw one game. Hopefully we can try to squeeze that in there. Hopefully on Mondays we can do that.
Let me tell you this, Aramis, CP Aramis. Let me tell you how far the WNBA has come, because ESPN has put their first ever preseason game live on ESPN.
Man,
Yeah.
I know.
And they ain't never
Yeah.
get no love, not no preseason love.
No.
I
front.
clicked on the channel yesterday and I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Like a preseason WNBA game?
Yeah. So big things for the women's though. They coming along.
100%. All right. Well, if you guys enjoy this live video, and if you guys enjoy my little rant, my little crashing out moments, I hope you enjoy that, because that'll be the last time you'll see it, hopefully. But
No, it ain't, because if they lose, he gonna be bad.
right, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be bad. At a point where I might even want to do the show no more, man. I'm like, I'm done with this. Yo, you know
Don't
what?
let Steven Adams get a double tonight. He gonna hate
Yo, if I see that, I am
Hey, Evans,
done.
don't let CP stir you up. He just trying to stir you up. Now he's stirring you up.
He's trolling me right now. He's trolling. That's what he's doing right now.
You know
But,
what I'm saying?
but with all being said, I'm appreciated to have my boys on the show, to speak the basketball that we love the most, and then hopefully we can get this channel rolling, so that we get some merches thrown out the way, some everything, so we can start getting paid from this joint, man, because this channel needs to grow a little bit more, so we can start getting paid from this joint.
There you go.
Got me?
Definitely go. Fellas, good show, man. And
Yeah.
definitely looking forward to everyone that's out there that listens. Thank y'all for tuning in. And like I say, y'all check on y'all boy Eric. If they lose tonight, you know what I mean? I'm gonna need y'all to help out with the lights.
I don't want to hear. I don't want to see no text messages. I don't want to see nothing. You don't get it on air.
Hey, CP, we might have to do a wellness check on him after the game.
You gonna have to, man. Because you know
like
what?
the show, share the show, all that. Get him out that bad move. You know what I mean?
All right. What I've been said, this has been a Basketball Truth and Knowledge. I'm your co-host, Aramis.
I'm Ray Daniels.
CP.
We out this joint. Peace.
Peace.
Love y'all boys. All right. Peace, y'all.